Greetings and salutations, Internet. Hope you celebrated King's Day the way we were supposed to do, which is revolting. um, I'm one of those people who said Donald Trump is horrible, someone I would never vote for. But I've always had the caveat, Democrats are worse. Because they went into the court and said that they do not have to listen to the democratic will of the people back in 2016, when it was clear that they had steamrolled Bernie Sanders. So it's like they got democracy in their name, kind of like Hitler had socialism in their name, democratic socialist or whatever. Yeah, it's like a little tagline that means nothing. So I have always been against Trump. I just always had this position. Democrats are worse. I mean, I voted for him one time in 2008. After that, no. Fool me once, shame on you. So the shame is still in their court. They couldn't get me to go for Barack a second time once I realized what a fraud he was. Damn sure wasn't going Hillary. And Biden, I wouldn't let this motherfucker watch my gerbil. I wouldn't I wouldn't trust him to take out the garbage. Let alone watch a whole fucking country. Obviously, this is not running the show. Kamala, disrespectfully mispronounce her name. I forget the actual pronunciation. I just know I just go over the top to avoid saying it correctly. No respect. She's one of the main reasons I left California, her and her policies. So it's just like, I just try to articulate my position to certain people, and they're like, oh, so you must love Trump. I'm like, no. Our whole system is illegitimate. I'm a revolutionary. Let's take to the streets. Let's organize. Let's do something. It's just kind of like, what's that? It's a character. It's a video game character. Mario, he had a brother. I forget his name, but he was like always playing second fiddle. Sometimes it's just like I end up relating to that character. That's why I always say, oh, Luigi something. Luigi, yeah. So it's just like, that's why I'm always saying free Luigi. Because Luigi should be free to be the number one. Yeah, it's just like yesterday, it was Martin Luther King's birthday. It was a protest. Like I said, that's how you should be celebrating his birthday. Getting involved and building your community. That's what MLK was doing when the government killed him. Then to cover up their tracks, they named the holiday after him. But let's not forget that extra history too. They killed him, just like they killed Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, John Lennon, anybody, any agent of change. But we were organizing, and it was a beautiful thing. But I saw some concerning shit that let me know that this is why one of the many reasons Donald Trump is infinitely better than the Democrats. Because I saw people, it was like somebody out there protesting, and they had a Biden-Harris pin from 2020. I'm like, if you think that is a statement that needs to be made right now, you think that's like, just, like that brings you these are the people who would have been having brunch if Kamala Harris would have won. And been like, no, I'll sit this one out. The Democrats got this. We trust the Democrats in this house. So, that was one concerning thing. I've always been concerned with the complacency after a Democrat gets elected. Like, any of these motherfuckers got your interest in heart. I'll say it again. A democracy does not mean going to vote for someone who hates you every 2 to 4 years. That's not a democratic process. You know, if they reflect your will, you know, most people want health care for all. Most people want some accountability for the people who are running the system. You see all the people who are cheering the CEO, the death of the CEO of United Health. Those are the people who are being denied by this company that's sucking money from our wealth, whether we want to pay them or not, right? There's no accountability for those people. That's why you know we're rooting for street justice, because we're not getting actual justice, because this is not close to a democracy. And yeah, the Democrats played a large part in that. They're not confronting the power. You know, Kamala Harris wouldn't even admit that there was anything wrong with the system. That's why people just, you know, gravitated towards Trump, because at least he acknowledged there's a fucking issue. That's a start. But you know, all of that stuff was just, you know, kind of window dressing for some of the deeper issues that I ended up coming across. Because I did not watch Donald Trump's inauguration speech. It's just something I don't watch any political theatrics. You know, I didn't watch fucking Joe Biden talking to a cactus, whatever the fuck he was doing. It's just like none of this shit is to me. This is like the window dressing they give to the people to make it seem like, oh, he's talking to a State of the Union. Like I know the State of the Union, the shit that he's actually doing is behind the scenes when he's talking to the corporations that he's subsidizing, that he's also paid by. But like I said, didn't watch Trump's inauguration. But you know, after we had our march, we got to this park, and it was like a food and you know, we had speakers and music, and one of the speakers was up there representing Black transgender communities. It was just more power to you. Get it how you live. Don't knock a pork chop off your plate if you don't knock one off of mine. However, they were upset. They said that Donald Trump is attacking the trans community because he is saying that your government ID is going to reflect your birth sex and not your chosen gender identity. And I'm confused, because I'm like, they were saying it like that's a problem. I was like, I don't get what the issue is, right? And then they were like, no, you don't know what this is going to do to the transgender community. That's going to invalidate my passport. So you're lying on your passport. That's like if there was like a manhunt out or a woman hunt, they wouldn't have the right information. That's like an issue I've made note of quite a while ago. It's just like it's one thing. Like for me, it's a case by case basis. You know, if you're a solid person, like when Chelsea Manning decided that she was no longer Bradley Manning, and you know, had exposed the government's secretly spying on people, or no, that was the one where the government was killing double taps and also secretly spying. Exposed the war crimes of the government, and then she was tortured. Then, you know, she decided, you know, I'm just going to change my gender. I accepted that. I'm not gonna call Bradley Manning she anymore. I'm gonna call, or he anymore. I'm gonna call Chelsea Manning her, because the government's coming after him, and I'm gonna do anything in my power to protect him. So I'll call him by a different name, different gender. You know, give him a heads up, like hold the door closed when the feds are coming for him, because I want to see them get away. But then you have transgender Nazis, like it was Sarah Beth Carrillo or whatever the fuck, who was talking about Russian people are Asiatic, therefore they're predisposed to enjoy slavery, and just had all this Nazi ideology, and expected people to like, didn't respect the humanity of not just Russian people, just Asians, because the reason Russians are bad are because they're Asiatic. And then I have to respect that person's chosen pronouns when they're probably wanted for murdering someone. No, that makes no sense to me. Your pronouns are now a Nazi he bitch. But I mean, just to make shit easy, I can understand why you would just make a blanket statement. If you were born with a wee wee, you're now a male. Born with a hoo-ha, you're now a woman. Makes sense to me. And then outside of that, you know, like if you want to wear what is normally considered women's clothing or men's clothing, whatever the fuck, that's just your own personal preference. It's just like you don't get to say this is how a woman looks or how a man looks, because it's kind of bigoted. That's kind of like, you know, just like this is how black people talk. Y'all always talk like this. White people, y'all talk like this. No, it's just, you know, we don't get into the stereotyping. And that's what that opens that up to. But yeah, so the person was upset that their passport might be invalid. And I was like, that sucks for you personally. And I can understand, you know, they're just going through the whole rigmarole, getting another one that can be frustrating. But, you know, I've also always been just like, it's just kind of weird how we have to acknowledge your chosen gender identity, but they don't have to acknowledge my chosen credit score. You know, because by birth, I got a single digit credit score. But my credit identifies as 4 digits. But I don't get like the cars and the houses that my credit score would indicate that I'm deserving of. So, you know, they don't get to like step into my financial identity. So it's just, I understand how it's just like, you don't want to, you know, because we were about to sue, because if you respect this person's gender identity, but you don't respect my financial identity, and this is after I got like some credit implants, and that shit ain't cheap. I know a lot of people who never had any surgical intervention to help them reflect their gender identity, but I had surgery for my financial identity, still not respected by the government. So that's the first point. But then they said something that was just like completely ridiculous, and I don't think that they were. It's like they were joking, because they were like, you know, on top of that, Donald Trump wants to take biological males out of female prisons and put them in the prison that reflects what their birth sex is. And I'm like, is that a bad thing? That is the most commonsensical thing we should do. You know, since we started integrating these prisons, like the pregnancies at women's prisons have gone up dramatically. We put rapists in women's prisons, and as long as they can, you know, put their hair in ponytails, pigtails, or whatever. That's like, it's just kind of silly. Oh, hey Nate, it's your cousin. It's been a while. Let's debate. Nice hat. Oh, it's the crown. Yeah, I had to earn this one. I'm the king of the struggle. Nope. Come on, Nate. Yep. I have a nice house. Credit cores from social media. Identity will destroy blue collar workers. Yeah, I'm not too big on being judged by credit, and it's not just because I have single digit. I mean, I almost got my credit score to the double digits. People said it's impossible. Someone told me they never saw a credit score in the double digits. But, you know, I like to dream. And, you know, imagination is more important than intelligence, according to Einstein. Pick up the line. All right. Donald Trump is niche. Yeah, he's well, this is the thing, because my sibling who hated Donald Trump and like accused me of loving Donald Trump for just saying that the Democrats are shit and I would never vote for them. Now, when I was telling him about the transgender, the biological males being kicked out of female prisons, that he was just like, I'm like the biggest Trump hater. He's like, no, he was right on that. And it's just like a lot of people, I don't buy any of the ceasefire bullshit. I think he's just setting it up so that they can try to get the Israeli hostages that weren't killed by the Israeli government. And then get the hostages back and then just go back to bombing Palestinians. I don't believe in any of that shit. But some people who do believe the hype, they're like, well, at least he got the ceasefire, them to acknowledge that something needs to be done. So it's just like, and this is like people who hate Trump more than anybody, think he's the worst of the worst. And now it's just like, they're starting to realize, I mean, what I've been saying for over about a decade, Democrats are worse because they don't rely on any of your input. There's no democratic input into who they choose. Kamala Harris was the least liked candidate in 2020. She got not a single delegate, right? Tulsi Gabbard just put her on her ass. And she was chosen for you with no input. They had no, at first they were like, oh, Joe Biden, he's just gonna run unopposed. He's gonna run unopposed. Then it was just like, oh, he's crazy. His brain is going to mush. Okay, so now it's gonna be his vice president, Kamala Harris, the least liked person in the world. And you're racist if you don't vote for her. And the whole campaign they ran on was, we're not Donald Trump. And now it's just, I like to believe that people are just going to be able to see through all of this malarkey from here on out. But we shall see. The dream is done. Haha, we'll miss your lives. I'm gonna get shipped off. Oh no. Where are you getting shipped off to? My dreamland. Shouldn't have signed to full screen. Absolutely. I mean, full screen shouldn't have been able to be bought up by AT&T. AT&T should be broken up. Should Verizon, all of these companies that, got these underhanded contracts with the government where they, agree to illegally spy on us, do all kinds of fucked up shit, monopolize whatever market they take to, put all their competition out of business. All that shit should be illegal. But break up Google. But yeah, it's just until we get like a mechanism to fight back and do something, hold these motherfuckers accountable. It's just gonna be a lot of, well, you shouldn't have done that. Like right now, I got into live entertainment and community building, right? Then as soon as I start being effective in this line of work, budget gets cut again, because it's the goal is the same: enlighten people to get out there and get involved in community building, to do something to improve our circumstances. If that is your goal, to see your people do better, you will be destroyed. You will be targeted. It'll be a lot of, oh, you shouldn't have signed here. You shouldn't have did that. Because the people with all the money, they're going to buy up all of the shit that you could use to fight back. One of the organizations I'm most proud to be working with, I haven't seen like the leadership really cave to the money. So then the money just gets pulled. And it's just, and then I start to looking into other organizations that have larger budgets to, so I could work alongside, figure out ways we can infuse money into the company I really enjoy working with. And yeah, then there's a big budget freeze. So it's always going to be that kind of shit. If you're trying to do anything positive, just prepare to be abused. Prepare to have all, you can't rely on money. Money can't be your shining star, because money will be taken away from you every step of the way when you do the right thing. Hey, Nate, one thing that I will say is the fact that I love the fact that you were still creating some stuff and getting out your ideology. Man, that's the moral of the story. If you knew better, you would do better. That's why I say I'm in the business of knowledge distribution. I got a playlist that's kind of like a college institution. And the reason why I focus on the unity and grouping is, if you knew what I knew, then you would start a revolution. You're my favorite cousin. I'll right back at you. Nate, we are cooked for the next 4 years. And let me just reiterate this point in case it hasn't settled on you yet. We have never had a good president. Never in my life, never in my ancestors' life. And I include you and your ancestors as well. We have never had a good president. Any progress we have seen was due to good movements. When we all came together, despite our differences, despite all of this overwhelming effort put into dividing us. When we come together to make our vision come to fruition, that is when we succeed. That is when we see change. That's why it's just like when you see, people like, fuck, you voted for Trump, fuck you. You voted Democrat, fuck you. All that mindset is a virus that prevents us from making any progress. Because I don't care who you voted for. Everyone agrees that there should be some accountability for the oligarch class. That's why it's just like when you see something like Luigi Mangione, I'm not gonna say he shot anybody, because he's allegedly shot people, but people love him because they think he did it. They want to believe he did it, right? And the people who don't think it was right to shoot him, they still think something should have been done, unless they're like directly related or benefiting from the system that the CEO was benefiting from, he was profiting from. But yeah, everybody knows something needs to be done. So it's just like, last 4 years was shit, right? But ironically, Trump, as shitty as he was, as horrible as he was his first time around, he was not as bad as the Democrats last time they had the ball. So this year is gonna be shit. If we just lie down and take whatever the Elon Musks and the fucking Trumps and the Vivek Ramaswamys and all that shit, we accept whatever they have planned. The most worthless man, someone like Elon Musk, never contributed anything of value. He just got his position because he's rich as fuck, connected to the government, getting all those subsidies with Tesla, banning competition from making it to our market. Because if we didn't have a embargo on Chinese EVs, we'd have better, cheaper vehicles, more options, right? But this South African white man is able to pass up all of these Asian competitors with better products and give us his garbage at an extreme price. And then he gets to be in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. This big ass welfare queen, the world's richest man. This shit is farcical. He's the biggest welfare queen, and none of his solutions involve him losing any money. It involves you losing Social Security. It involves you losing, just basic dignities and no health care for you. No, none of the, like, he's in charge of, they say he's supposed to be the free speech, leading free speech with X. First of all, I don't call that shit X. Only X I respect is Malcolm. Yeah, Twitter was not his thing. The fact that he could buy it and then choose, like, oh, so he's like, I won't ban you, Scouts Honor. I don't want to be dependent on the world's richest man to find out like what he finds acceptable. Like, how about we take the welfare that he took from us, and like we make it so that nobody who has made more than $10 million from government funds, it's a hard cutoff. It's just like, oh, you got billions of dollars in government subsidies. Yoink, psych your mind, make your booty shine. You have a hard limit on your account, $10 million. Well, if you don't want these limits, then you shouldn't be stealing the people's money, all right? If you can't live off the interest from 10 million, that's $500,000 a year. If you can't live off of that, you're broken. And I don't want to see what you do with these fucking robots. Because I don't know if you've seen the Tesla robots, all that shit. Like, it's just bringing me back to fucking iRobot, Terminator, all of this, the dystopian robot movies that were trying to warn us of Elon Musk's rise. Yeah, horrible person. Horrible administration. Yeah, they got some horrible shit in mind for us. But we got to show up. That's the last time we had a progressive president was Richard Nixon. And it wasn't because he gave a shit about the people. It's because we had movements that scared him into listening to us. They had the fucking May Day 1971. That was the largest civil disobedience movement in America to date. Like, it was just, everybody was showing up. They were locking motherfuckers in mass. They just see you on the street, they're locking you up because they assumed everybody on the street has something to do with these movements because everybody was involved. And yeah, and then you had the Supreme Court Justice who was appointed by Nixon, Lewis Powell. He wrote the Powell Memorandum, where he's talking about, if you want to stop these movements, we need to control the media, their education system. We need to, hammer down the first people to stand up, lock up their leaders, COINTELPRO type shit. And yeah, he pitched the idea, but they never listened to him. That's why the media is just, you don't see any homogeneity in the media structure. Like, it's like they don't lie us in a war or do some stuff that other fascistic governments do. Like, they're honest with us. It's not like they would ever lie to you to get you to take a medicine that's not safe for you. So we're lucky in that respect. Or I'm being sarcastic. I don't know. But like I said, never had a good president, only had good movements. I can't afford no name brand Louis Vuitton, and that ain't the game plan. No, it's not. It's Monopoly. That's a boring game. It's just, I just can't finish it. So it's time to just overthrow the pieces, just flip the board up. I mean, the actual game, if you're playing, that is boring, but also as a metaphor for the system. LMAO full screen. Things just get worse, yes. And information is the biggest, hugest payment lately. Misinformation, yes. P. Diddy spent more on a fucking fur coat. Probably. Or baby oil. The budget will never help the working class. Yeah, no. Yeah, the budget, and this, we need to restructure how we give money to anybody. So instead of corporations getting any money, any government subsidies, we should make a prerequisite for any subsidization of any business is that it has to be owned by the workers. right? Well, if you subsidize McDonald's and Amazons and your fucking Teslas, and then you got like underpaid workers fucked over, right? And then they inevitably have like all these issues where we gotta form a union, we gotta strike, we gotta do all this, and it's like it's interrupting the economic growth that we should be seeing. And why? Because we just want to prioritize putting money in the pockets of the board, of the CEOs who say they're job creators, but they don't like actually do shit. Yeah, I don't buy into any of that propaganda. I lived in multiple areas where it's just like we have some of the richest people, right? And I talk to some generationally wealthy people. They are the dumbest people in the fucking world. You talk to someone who comes from like so much money where they can't lose their money. Like they have so much money just handed to them that they cannot go broke. Like just like even if they just get addicted to the worst of the worst kind of most expensive crack and meth combination, like their interest off of the money that they have inherited is so vast that they cannot run out. Like you think about a billionaire, someone who inherits $1 billion. How much money do you think that is in interest? So $50 million a year for 1 billion. You know how hard it is to spend $50 million? You have to actually try. You have to like turn that into your job. You have to like, even if you're buying assets that are going to accumulate all the housing, all that shit, that's going to be more money going up. But even if you're wasting it, like you have to figure out the most expensive shit. You have to go research it. You have to be like, what can I really waste my money on? I got to buy these $28,000 a pair of shoes or whatever. I got to buy 1,300 of them or whatever. You got to do all kinds of crazy math. Figure out how to waste that kind of money. And it's just like when you come from that kind of money, your view of the world is so distorted. Like when I talk to people who have the people do like who my dad is. Like if you start getting them, pissing them off and be like, you don't even know who my dad is, bitch. When you start being around that mindset, you just realize they're fucking dumb as shit. And that's Elon Musk. Like he makes it seem like he's so profound, like he invented the electric car. No. he got rich off of emerald mine money that he did not earn, therefore does not deserve. And he thinks he's better than other people. For shame. How do you think I became Princess of BJ? That is a quote. Nate, I'm going to donate to your cause. Let me know. Praise God. Well, don't donate to PayPal. PayPal shut me down. Garbage. And then other sites, people took my name. So Cash App, someone stole Nateflix, so I'm Nateflix funds. I think Venmo, I might be Nateflix, but I'm not even sure. Don't use Venmo like that. So it's just like I don't even, and I got to make some kind of video to acknowledge that because there's a lot of stuff where I mentioned my PayPal, but PayPal, fuck them. That's where Elon Musk, he owned PayPal for a minute, and it's just like, yeah, it is. When they can't control you, they try to use finances to coerce you. That's why it's just whenever you see someone who's just got so much money, you hear someone getting like when Dave Chappelle was announced he got 50 million, that was to buy him, to own him, but he walked away. Then they said he was crazy. But yeah, they use finances to control, and yeah, I'm not out of control. I'm just out of their control. That's why education is such a target. Got to keep people stupid. Absolutely. You clear-headed brother. That's what's up, bro. It's just light skin, not clear. Praise him. JFK is a cartoon. That's one way of looking at it. I think it's a tragedy. It was cartoon. If it was a cartoon, I wish it was, like Daffy Duck or Bugs Bunny. He can get shot in the face and, his beak turns around, but he's still alive. Yeah, because I was interested to see what JFK had planned, because he started to, I think, when we're doing the testing of LSD and all that shit during MK Ultra, I think he got dosed. And I think he was just a standard, like Bill Clinton type politician. Then something happened and he was just trying to counter what he had been doing. I don't know. But it was interesting. But then it's also his brother was spying on MLK. Maybe he had an enlightenment moment. I don't know. Some weird stuff. I do find it odd. RFK Jr. is so rah-rah Israel, and his dad was more than likely assassinated by Israel. But I also think that's, could be a product of MK Ultra, because Sirhan was supposedly someone who was a part of the MK Ultra program. And, after RFK Jr.'s dad died, they probably brought him in. Maybe they've held him hostage. I don't know. But I just find it weird. Like, he could be so pro-Israel when he's sane when it comes to so much shit, like especially when it comes to regulatory capture of a lot of the industries that have way too much power, enough power. Like, like when people are protesting to put them out of business. During Bernie Sanders, both of his runs were predicated on doing something about big pharma, the healthcare insurance companies that people were celebrating the CEO dying in. Bernie Sanders was running on that shit. Then as soon as we have a pandemic, instead of us like saying kick these motherfuckers out, let's have public health for everybody so we can treat the underlying illnesses and prevent millions of people from dying. We don't get healthcare for all. We get mandatory vaccinations that are injected into us by the same companies that we were protesting to put out of business. Like, how does that make sense? It's like, we want y'all out of business. Oh, it's a pandemic. We need y'all to be out of business. Nope. No, we will give you mandatory vaccinations instead of healthcare for all. That makes no sense to me. People over profits. Nate, you won. Fuck YouTube. Oh, yes. Language, though. Musk Elon. Oh, Nate, in your house right now. Well, I hope you keep it clean. I don't want to come back and have it with that odor again. It's been a minute since I've seen you live. Well, I'm gonna try to be back regularly. We're gonna be doing some events with speakers, and we're gonna have like some live questions, but I also would like to have some of the online folks able to contribute, because we're gonna have some people that you guys already know, some discussions that we like to already have. Nate, you look like you haven't been to the gym. Well, I was going to the gym today, and then I decided to do a live. Yeah. And I'm also I'm at a weird angle, different cameras. I'm not even paying attention to this one. The fuck is all over the floor. Okay, sorry about that. How have you been? Staying busy. I mean, if you're in my house, then you see all the stuff I've been working on. Nate, STFU and Hop on YouTube. No. Musk Elon. But Nate, the McRib is back though. Yeah, well, I'm a pescatarian, so it's not my jam. I just took off my shoes. Well, get comfortable. people will look at you crazy for not wanting to struggle for basic necessities. Well, yeah, and that's where we're at right now. Most people, they don't even think about their future because they're so caught up in just taking care of food, shelter, like just the shit that other countries take for granted. And why? Because we have like a corporate supremacist government, used to be white supremacists, right? But then, the people who run the government, they realize they can't continue world domination without the support of all these colored people. So they created like a big show and dance, the illusion of inclusion. They'll put like a few black leaders in, or black puppets posing as leaders. Yeah, and then that's supposed to be the solution. Like we get a Barack Obama, but then as soon as Barack Obama gets in, like he brings slavery back to the continent of Africa. He coups Haitian governments, and yeah, that's the theatrics that they provide us, because now it's just like the people who run the shit. We're talking about families who've been in charge for thousands of years. Like from the old country as in not very old, but European countries that, like the colonizers who got access to Chinese technology and African spirituality that they bastardized into European Western religion. Yeah, they created these systems to make us think like this is, voting is democracy. And the best way to maintain a slave is to give them the right to vote and tell them they're free, and just never have anything that they want done. Then they're so convinced they're free. Then you got these corporations. I mean, first is that's why we need a Malcolm X Day, because he was killed by the government too. But Malcolm's issue with Martin, he had a few, but the one I identify with the most is like Martin was trying to infiltrate these white-owned businesses to force them to feed black people. So we're going to go to the people who hate us, and then they get to make our food. I will fight for you to be able to make my food, spit in it, poison it, do whatever, but I want you to make my food. Martin or Malcolm wanted us to have our own businesses. He wanted, like when we started having like a Black Wall Street situation, instead of the government bombing buildings and killing people, don't interrupt, don't interfere, and maybe some reparations for the damage that you did when we were actually building, building after slavery. With the systems that you created post-slavery, or even, some people want to go back to slavery itself, like compensation for building the country. So Malcolm's position of having your own business, because your friends in your community aren't going to be spitting on your food, and you don't want to be dependent on people who hate you. But of course, Martin won. That's why they always say, I have a dream. I have a dream. It's the capitalist speech. It's like, we don't talk about any of the major underlying shit. It's just like, yeah, white people, and I got this old video of them talking like back in the 50s, 60s, where they were like, we need to start embracing the black dollar. Let's start taking their money. I know you're racist as shit, but take their money from them. They got billions of dollars. That should be our money. So with that, they had the model for corporations as we know them today, which is like extractive. Your Walmart model. You move in, you undercut the pricing of your competitors, put them out of business, then you jack up your own prices, and they have no other options. Then you get buy up all the government. So if you start struggling, you can get subsidized. You can get billions of dollars to continue the stranglehold on these economies. And you have like corporations, they're buying up all the housing. during the homelessness epidemic. They shouldn't be able to own any property whatsoever. Residential should be only owned by the people who live there. Businesses should only be owned by the people who work there. It shouldn't be some fucking board of thieves. But, you know, that's just me. And, you know, a few other countries. United Corporations of America, indubitably. Elon salutes like a queer. I thought he looked more like a Nazi. And when I think of it, didn't he win Person of the Year by Time magazine, just like Hitler did? Yeah, they both got Person of the Year. LOL, it's just the angles, boo. Indeed. Nate, I missed you long time, fan. Missed you back. Rewinding Pokemon was shown at my tattoo shop to many clients. Well, I appreciate that. The views are needed. Those shoes you had were actually dope. Dropping the air Nates. I don't know which ones you're talking about. I got a few different shoes. Yeah. These are kind of dirty, but you know, it's a little design with the liberation colors, red, green, and black. That's like one of my ongoing themes. So I got the Palestine, the watermelon, red, green, and black in that. All right. You have to be gay to be protected in this system. Or rich. So I don't think all gay people are protected. I think the gay people who can change the conversation when you start providing criticism towards their actions. Like I said, my pronouns are thou and thine, filled with a love divine. I love all y'all. Don't care about your pronouns, care about your verbs, right? And when you start criticizing someone's verbs, and the people who can be like, oh, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, you're anti-Semitic. Those people who, when they get criticized, they can fall into some identity, that they ascribe to avoid criticism. Those are the people they would be protected regardless of whatever they said they were. They just choose to be the victimized identity, the identify as the victim. That's like a tactic to shield themselves from all criticism. They can't be scrutinized. You can't. Martin Luther King said we should be judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin or the place we choose to put our genitalia. So I'm on to all of the tactics. I don't think anybody should be able to avoid criticism based on any dumb shit. But yeah, the silliness, the silly shit that I've been able to witness. I think we're all witnessing it. I think that's why it's just it's kind of just so ironic. The people who hate Trump the most are the people who are making other Trump haters like embrace him. It's just it is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, employee evaluations for the government. Oh yeah, when I apply the system employee evaluations, it's like welcome to unemployment, greetings and salutations. They got cancerous corruption requiring amputation and levels of villainy beyond exaggeration. When you see their machinations for your house to salivating, if you're of that persuasion, I offer invitations. At Netflix.net, I'll provide you information. And for your convenience, I'm also in syndication. We got the Window Nation to deal with the Center Nation, but you too fun in the dark with the innovation. So on rumble.com, I'm Netflix. They ain't stumbled, so I'm on some ape shit. It's time to change shit. A whole lot of evil to vanquish. Rein the banks in the bangity bang man. They're run by criminals who no longer thinking. If we don't take the ship, then we'll go over sinking. Rasimba is my master teacher of Kemet. I mean, I got a consciousness conjured out in Kemet. The devil had to bend it, burn it down, condemn it. Their history is intended to get us at contentment, because if you knew where you descended, you'll contend that shit and end it. Now, they're going to get offended when our people represent it. That's why the system was invented, to keep us all segmented. The new system implemented when your enemies befriended. Let's unite so we can end this and get this revolution finished. And on that note, I just got like a bunch of stuff, a flurry of shit I got to deal with. And I'm approaching the hour. So I just wanted to tap in with you guys. And I got more content coming. Nate, can you own MW? I don't know what that means. Own me? No, I don't want to own you. Someone criticized me. They're indubitable. He also sells feet pics, ladies. I mean, I sell pictures of my toes mostly. That's where the money is. You can sell like individual toe pics, drives people crazy. That's where people, plus some people, you got the fungus heads. I mean, I don't even want to get into my business strategies, but I do appreciate you guys showing up. Thanks for fighting the power. Oh man, you know, we got no other option. I got to see some heads roll. It's like Prince said, "Oh, 7 men will watch them fall. They stand in the way of love, and we will smoke them all with their intellect and their savoir-faire. No one in the whole universe could ever compare." But anyways, Godspeed, you guys. Thank you for showing up. I saw some faces I haven't seen in a long time. It feels good to see you. I mean, has it been? I haven't done it this year yet. Has it been that long? I don't know. Maybe, but I appreciate you. Listen, I bought them. Well, I appreciate the whatever you bought. Godspeed. Be good to each other.